This video was shared by TikTok user Risanzuma, featuring a pair of dogs whose behavior takes a very sudden and aggressive turn. The setting is a standard living room where the pets initially seem calm if a bit alert. We often look to animals as a barometer for the supernatural, believing they can sense things beyond human perception. In this footage, the larger dog stands in the center of the room, focused intensely on an empty space near the ceiling. There's no visible movement or sound to account for its fixation, but the dog's body language suggests it is reacting to something it perceives as a threat. The owner watches on, capturing the escalating tension as the dog begins to growl and bark. The dog's reaction is incredibly visceral, culminating in a defensive posture against an invisible intruder. Some viewers believe this is clear evidence of a spirit, specifically because both dogs eventually focus on the same area and the larger dog's aggression seems directed at a specific height. Others argue that the dogs might simply be reacting to a small pest like a fly, or even a reflection on the wall that isn't visible on camera. Skeptics also point out that high-pitched sounds from electronic devices or outside sources, inaudible to humans, can often trigger this type of canine behavior. Whether it was a ghost or a localized sound, the intensity of the reaction is difficult to ignore. What do you think prompted this outburst? Drop a comment below. This video comes to us from TikTok user Magnus Madsen, who claims his house is still haunted after a long period of quiet. The footage is captured in a grainy, black and white filter, heightening the tension as we watch a young man trying to relax in his living room. He seems completely unaware that the atmosphere in his home is about to shift from peaceful to predatory. As he settles onto the couch, we see a typical domestic scene, yet there is a heavy stillness in the air. Pay close attention to the background elements of the room, particularly the windows and the doorways, as the energy begins to manifest in a very physical and aggressive way.
My house is still haunted. After a long time, something finally happened. It really scared me this time.
The window behind the TV slams shut with incredible force, nearly hitting the man. While this is terrifying, the activity isn't over yet. Keep your eyes on the dark hallway visible through the doorway as something is moving. In the hallway, a door is seen swinging open and then shut with a slow rhythm. Some viewers believe this is a clear case of poltergeist activity, specifically because of the synchronized nature of the movements and the physical force required to slam heavy doors. Others argue that this could be a staged event, suggesting the use of fishing line or off-camera assistance to pull the doors at specific cues. Skeptics also point out that the high contrast filter helps hide thin wires that might be attached to the handles. However, the reaction of the uploader seems genuine. This footage leaves us wondering if he is truly alone in that house. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this capture. This video comes to us from TikTok user Glow01Fiv, capturing a moment that feels like a scene straight out of a horror movie. In the quiet of a bedroom, the uploader claims that a persistent spirit has been making its presence known by manipulating the door. The room is filled with everyday items, from clothing racks to cleaning supplies, creating a grounded, domestic atmosphere. However, the uploader seems to have reached a point of frustrated familiarity with the entity, as they begin to demand it show its power on command. The tension in the air is palpable as we wait to see if the unseen guest will comply with the request to close the door.
Guys, my door There's a ghost in my room and it closes my door. It's gonna be a while, but you're gonna see it. Come on, close it. You're almost there. Close my door. Close it. No, I don't want you to open it. Close it. Just close it already. Do it. Come on. I do not have all day. Close it so I can go to sleep. Thank you, I guess.
The door finally slams shut with a surprising amount of force. Some viewers believe this is a genuine poltergeist manifestation, specifically because the door remains stationary for so long before moving rapidly and the uploader's hands appear occupied with the camera. Others argue this could be a simple practical effect, suggesting a hidden string or even a well-timed gust of wind from an open window. Skeptics also point out that the framing of the video hides the area behind the door, which would be the perfect spot for a person to stand and pull it shut. Is this a spirit finally losing its patience, or just a clever setup? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.
I do not have all day. Close it so I can go to sleep.
The energy in these videos is undeniably heavy. From a door closing on command to dogs sensing the unseen and objects being thrown in a black and white nightmare. The evidence is piling up. If these clips are making you question what's lurking in the shadows, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback. We bring you new evidence every single week to keep the investigation alive. Don't go anywhere, because we have many more cases to examine that will leave you chilled to the bone. This video is a disturbing series of updates from TikTok user Genatorance. What started as an interest in vintage holiday decor quickly turned into a living nightmare. Gina explains that she purchased an antique porcelain doll at an estate sale, despite the seller warning her that the doll's previous owner believed it was the source of strange occurrences. The atmosphere in her home changed almost immediately after the doll's arrival. In the following clips, Gina documents the unexplained sounds that began to plague her house while she was home alone with her daughter. The initial excitement of her find has been replaced by a genuine sense of dread as she realizes she may have brought something unwanted into her home.
There's something about vintage Halloween and Christmas decorations that I love, right? Like, it's old, it's timeless. I swear to God, I don't know what that would... Like, I don't know if you could hear that. Hold on. Like, I'm home alone right now. I have no clue what that was. Okay, so I don't know if you heard that, but it sounded like something fell. I have no clue what it was. I'm home alone, like my daughter's sleeping. But anyways, I went to an estate sale looking for vintage Halloween and Christmas decor. Like, now I'm freaked out. Now I'm really freaked out. So I found an antique that is creepy. So the lady who was, running the estate sale was like, "Oh, are you looking for something?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for vintage holiday decor. I love like spooky stuff, Halloween, Christmas, whatever." And she was like, "Oh, we don't have any decorations, but I do have something spooky." And I was like, "Ooh, what is it?" Like, I love spooky stuff. And she shows me this. I had to have it. Like, she's so pretty, but like, it is spooky. So I asked the lady, I was like, why is she considered spooky? Like, why, like, what's the story? And she was like, "Well, she was my mom's." And this lady was like in her 50s. So I was like, okay, it's gotta be old. Because if it was her mom's, you know what I mean? It was my mom's. I just heard something again. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. It was my mom's, and just weird stuff would happen. My mom would just say weird stuff would happen in the house all the time, and I don't really want it. So I bought it. So maybe all this weird stuff happening is because I brought this girl home. But I'll keep you guys updated.
The rhythmic knocking Gina captures in the middle of the night is incredibly persistent and localized. It doesn't sound like the typical settling of a house. As the days progress, the activity doesn't subside. Instead, it becomes more frequent, leaving Gina increasingly on edge. She continues to record, hoping to catch a definitive explanation, but the source of the noise remains elusive. Watch and listen carefully to the next segment as the knocking returns, this time accompanied by Gina's heavy breathing as the fear begins to truly take hold of her.
It's because I brought this girl home, but I'll keep you guys updated. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, it went on for a good 5 minutes. This video itself was only 1 minute long. I was so scared. You could start to hear me kind of breathe heavily. And I eventually woke up my husband and he looked around the house and we couldn't find anything. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I think it's pretty spooky.
The persistence of the knocking coincided perfectly with the doll's arrival. Some viewers believe the doll is a vessel for a spirit, specifically because the activity is so localized and rhythmic. Others argue that the knocking could be air in the pipes or a neighbor, and the uploader's fear is simply amplifying the situation. Skeptics also point out that the doll's history could be a psychological primer, making any normal sound seem paranormal. The question remains, is the doll a cursed object or just a catalyst for imagination? Tell me your theories in the comments and stay safe out there.
Right? It's old, it's timeless.
This video comes to us from the YouTube channel 4th Wall, showcasing a scene that feels like it's pulled straight from a J-horror film. A man is walking home at night when he encounters a playground where the swings are moving violently on their own. Seeking to prove he isn't the one manipulating them, he sets up a second camera on a piece of play equipment to capture a wide angle while he films with his handheld device. The atmosphere is heavy with the rhythmic creaking of the metal chains cutting through the dead silence of the night.
会社用と個人用のスマホ2台持ってたんで、スマホっていうような高い遊具もあったんで、そこに1台スマホを置いて撮りました。自分が動かしてるんじゃないっていう証拠になるかな。帰宅中に通りかかったんですけど、心霊現象だと思って。そうですね、ツイッターとか上げようと思いましたね。であの木の横に人影ががっつり映ってるじゃないですか。こんな映ることありますっていう。はい。
The footage reveals a tall, dark figure standing perfectly still by a tree, visible only on the stationary camera and not the handheld one. Some viewers believe this is a genuine manifestation, specifically because the figure remains motionless and seems to lack depth. Others argue it could be a clever edit or a person standing in a blind spot of the first camera. Skeptics also point out that the pixelation on the man's face in the interview portion makes it harder to gauge his genuine reaction, suggesting a staged production. Whether a clever hoax or a true glitch in reality, it leaves a lingering chill. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This entry was shared by Instagram user RG and captures a frantic moment inside a home. The uploader begins filming in a laundry area, clearly agitated by sounds coming from just outside the door. There's a palpable sense of dread as he explores the dark exterior of the house, suspecting someone or something is lurking in the shadows. The low-light environment and shaky camera work amplify the tension, making every corner seem like a potential hiding spot for the unknown. He seems desperate to find the source of the disturbance before it finds him.
Oh mùi ơi á cái gì? Mất tự tay con chị tí ốc lên. Oh mùi ơi. Wow. Mùi lô. Ta lên biết cái tôi.
The climax occurs when a sudden, loud clattering erupts in the darkness, sending the uploader sprinting back inside. Some viewers believe this was a physical encounter with an entity, specifically because of the immediate and violent nature of the sound. Others argue it could be a simple prank by a friend or a stray animal knocking over buckets. Skeptics also point out the video cuts off right as the action peaks, which is a common trope in staged internet scares. Despite the logical possibilities, the man's sheer terror feels incredibly authentic. What do you make of his reaction? Tell me in the comments below.
Oh mùi ơi á cái gì? Mất tự tay con chị tí ốc lên. Oh mùi.
We've seen some truly baffling evidence tonight, from haunted doll sightings to phantom figures in Japanese playgrounds. The night is far from over, and the clips are only getting more intense. If you're finding these investigations as unsettling as I am, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback. We bring you new videos every week to challenge your perception of reality. Stay tuned, because our next deep dive might just be the one that convinces you. This video comes to us from TikTok user Tristan8104, capturing a series of unsettling events in what should be the safety of a home. The atmosphere is thick with tension as the uploader records a dimly lit hallway and a bedroom door that seems to have a mind of its own. It is late at night, and the silence is heavy, broken only by the sound of breathing and the quiet hum of the house. We are about to witness a sequence of physical disturbances that defy a simple explanation, starting with the movement of multiple doors simultaneously. Pay close attention to the background as the camera pans. The way those doors swung open in unison is enough to send a chill down anyone's spine. While some might suggest a sudden draft or a change in air pressure, the deliberate nature of the movement suggests something more. However, the activity doesn't stop with the doors. Keep your eyes on the small table in the hallway as the uploader investigates further. A spray can resting near a plant is about to become the center of a much more aggressive display of force. The can falling from the table seems to be a direct response to the uploader's presence. Skeptics often point to invisible threads or tilted surfaces in these scenarios, but the timing is incredibly precise. As the uploader tries to rationalize what just happened by replacing the can, the entity in the house seems to lose its patience. Watch the final moments of the footage very carefully, as a sudden violent sound is about to conclude this encounter. That final loud bang is the most aggressive event of the night, suggesting a physical presence that isn't shy about making itself known. Some viewers believe this is a genuine haunting, citing the sheer variety of physical interactions. Others argue that the camera's focus and the convenient framing suggest a staged event, possibly involving a hidden person or simple practical effects. Skeptics also point out that we never see the uploader's hands during the most intense moments. Despite the logical theories, the sequence of events remains deeply unsettling. Does this look like a clever hoax to you, or is there something truly malevolent in that hallway? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This piece of security footage comes from the TikTok account of user Krobishi. The scene is a typical, well-lit kitchen, appearing completely ordinary at first glance. A floor fan oscillates in the foreground, providing a sense of normalcy to the quiet domestic setting. However, the piece is shattered in an instant when a heavy object is violently hurled from an off-screen area. The impact is sudden and loud, sending a woman rushing into the room to investigate the source of the commotion. She appears visibly shaken as she looks around, trying to comprehend how something could be thrown with such force in an empty space. The speed and trajectory of the object have led many to believe this is a genuine case of poltergeist activity, as the force required seems beyond a simple accident. Skeptics, however, point out that the object originates from a doorway just out of the camera's line of sight, suggesting a person could have easily thrown it to create a viral moment. There is also the possibility of a tension-based prank involving a hidden string, though no such mechanism is visible in the grainy footage. The woman's reaction seems authentic, but in the digital age, high-quality acting is common. What do you make of this kitchen chaos? Leave a comment with your theory below. Captured by TikTok user Nina0313. This footage takes us inside the sterile and often eerie environment of a hospital room. Hospitals are frequently cited as hotspots for paranormal activity due to the intense emotions and life-altering events that occur within their walls. In this specific clip, the room is empty of patients, yet the heavy motorized hospital bed begins to behave as if it has a mind of its own. Without anyone touching the controls, the various sections of the bed start to rise and fall in a mechanical rhythm. The person filming stands at a distance, capturing the mechanical movement that seems to defy the logic of a vacant room. The first movement is distinct, with the head of the bed lurching upward. While some viewers are convinced this is the work of a lingering spirit, others suggest a more technical explanation. It is common for medical equipment to experience electrical shorts or software glitches that can trigger automated functions. However, as the person filming continues to watch, the bed performs a second, even more complex set of movements that seem far too deliberate to be a simple wiring issue. The bed continues its strange display, adjusting itself again as if preparing for a patient who isn't there. Skeptics argue that someone could be operating a remote control or a secondary panel out of frame to prank the witness. They also point out that modern hospital beds often have a return to home or calibration mode that might trigger if the sensors are dirty or faulty. But just when it seems the mechanical tantrum might be over, the bed moves a third time, heightening the tension. The final movement of the bed is perhaps the most unsettling, occurring after a significant pause. Believers argue that the sheer repetition of these movements makes a ghost theory more plausible, suggesting an entity trying to get comfortable. On the other hand, skeptics maintain that a faulty control board is the most logical culprit, noting that medical-grade electronics are not immune to failure. The lack of any other activity in the room makes it difficult to definitively label this as paranormal. Could this be a ghost in the machine, or just a machine in need of repair? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. We've just witnessed a violent kitchen poltergeist, a hospital bed moving on its own, and a home invaded by aggressive activity. The evidence tonight is truly staggering. If these clips have you looking over your shoulder, make sure to subscribe to Pale Playback and hit that notification bell. We bring you fresh evidence and deep dives into the unexplained every single week. Don't go anywhere, because the next half of our batch contains footage that might just change your mind about the afterlife. This video, shared by the YouTube channel Simply Horror 3838, presents a terrifying scenario for anyone who lives alone. The uploader begins filming after being disturbed by an aggressive, rhythmic knocking coming from inside his own home. He walks through his apartment, showing the viewer that he is indeed the only person present. The atmosphere is thick with anxiety as he approaches the door where the sound originated. He seems to be bracing himself for a confrontation, yet there is no logical reason for the noise to be occurring. The house is quiet until the silence is broken by a series of bangs so loud they vibrate the camera.
All right, let's investigate.
The first series of knocks is incredibly rapid, sounding almost mechanical in its precision. While some believe this is a classic manifestation of a haunting, skeptics argue that the sound could be coming from a neighbor or even a plumbing issue like water hammer, which can cause loud rhythmic banging in walls. The man continues his search, moving deeper into the apartment to prove he's alone, but the unseen visitor isn't finished yet.
All right, let's investigate.
As he moves through the kitchen, the knocking erupts again, even more violent than before. The location of the sound seems to shift, making it harder to pin down a physical cause. Those who believe in the paranormal suggest this is an intelligent entity reacting to his presence. Skeptics, however, point out that the man is holding the camera, and it would be very easy for an accomplice to knock on the other side of a wall just out of frame to create the illusion of a haunting.
Alright. I just want to let you guys know, like, I'm home alone. There's nobody here. Whoa, okay.
He finally reaches the bathroom door where the activity seems focused. He even knocks back, and to his horror, something immediately knocks in return. This mimicry is a common trope in paranormal investigations. Skeptics remain unconvinced, noting that the timing of the knocks could be coordinated via a simple earpiece if this were a staged video. But the man's growing fear seems to peak as he prepares to open the door.
Whoa, okay.
The final barrage of knocks occurs directly on the door he is touching, yet when he opens it, the room is empty. Some viewers find this definitive proof of the supernatural, while others think it's a very well-executed hoax involving off-camera assistance. Skeptics also mention that in apartment buildings, sounds can travel through shared vents and walls in confusing ways, making a neighbor's renovations sound like they are happening right next to you. Is this a genuine haunting or a clever production? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Whoa, okay.
This video comes from TikTok user Saratau86, who works in an elderly care facility. She begins filming in a long, deserted hallway, claiming to hear strange noises and seeing shadows where there should be none. The sterile, repetitive architecture of the facility creates a naturally unsettling backdrop. As she narrates her experience, she captures a series of loud, metallic banging sounds that echo through the corridor. The worker appears genuinely frightened, explaining that she has had the lights turned off on her before and is desperate to finish her shift and leave.
Oigan, ¿qué es eso de allí? No sé qué sea. ¿Escuchan? Se escucha como si golpearan la pared. Oigan, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué podrá ser? No sé si logran escuchar. Aquí ya me han apagado la luz anteriormente. Me da miedo pasar por el pasillo. ¿Escucharon? Hello?
The loud bangs in the hallway are incredibly startling and seem to come from nowhere. Some believe this is evidence of the stone tape theory, where traumatic events are recorded into the environment and replay over time. Skeptics, however, point to the heavy industrial doors and HVAC systems common in such facilities, which can make significant noise when they cycle or settle. But as she moves to the laundry area, the sounds change from mechanical bangs to something far more human and disturbing.
¿Escucharon? Hello? Ay, no. Ya me quiero ir, estoy esperando la ropa, ya me quiero ir. Se está escuchando muchísimos ruidos. Escucha que gritan. ¿Qué será? Voy a poner la segunda parte. Se están escuchando muchísimas voces.
The woman captures what sounds like multiple voices and even a distant scream, despite being alone in that section of the building. Believers find the variety of noises compelling evidence of a multi-layered haunting. Skeptics argue that in large, echoing buildings, sounds from distant occupied wings can carry through ductwork, becoming distorted and appearing much closer than they are. They also suggest the worker's own anxiety might be causing her to overinterpret common building noises. Is this facility truly haunted by its past? Or is it just the acoustics of a large institution? Share your theories in the comments.
Flow.
As we conclude tonight's analysis, the 4th wall figure remains one of the most debated captures due to its strange appearance on only one camera. The apartment footage from Tristan 8104 provides a masterclass in escalating activity, while the care facility echoes leave many to wonder if we are ever truly alone. Whether these are high-effort hoaxes or actual paranormal events, the impact they have on the viewer is undeniable. Thank you for joining me on Pale Playback. Be sure to leave a comment with your own theories on these anomalies. I'll be reading them. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next week with more evidence.